Well, hey everybody, it's 3 p.m. and it's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. I'm Nanny Bubby. This is my home kitchen. We're celebrating Super Bowl today with Chef Mareya from Los Angeles, California. She's a big Rams fan. Hey! Are you guys so jazzed about the Rams?
It's unbelievable. I mean, not only is it so exciting that they're in the Super Bowl, they're playing in SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. It's the first year that SoFi has been open. So it's just like the inaugural Super Bowl in our stadium with our team. It's a pretty big.
I love that. I love that. And you know, in 2024, Allegiant Stadium, which is where the Raiders play, is going to be the home of the Super Bowl in 2024. And I mean, honestly, we're just praying that we have that same experience, that the Raiders, you know, get to the Super Bowl in 2024 and get to play at home in Vegas. So
yeah, that's a big deal.
And I'm just learning about football, so I don't know, are the Rams and the Raiders in the same league, or do you know?
Yes, so in the same conference, yes. Yeah. So we're all in the West together.
But are we both AFC or UFC?
It's no. It's no. I was wrong. We're not.
So we're in the. I think we are AFC West. So you guys must be UFC West, right? Which means we could play you guys in 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody's yelling. The peanut gallery in the back. I have a peanut gallery too, so I understand.
I'm a new fan. I'm like a born again fan. So I'm like a crazy, like loud fan. I just don't know a lot, but I scream really loud.
That's awesome. So listen, we really do have a time constraint, and I really want to get through everything. So let's get started. We're making a fabulous spinach dip, correct?
Yes. So the idea behind this dip is that, you know, we love guacamole, we love spinach dip, and we love that French onion dip. But what if you put them all together into one? That's the perfect trifecta. And I like to say, if the three had a baby, it would be this dip.
That's great. And I also want to welcome the Melissa Produce family, because as I understand it, they are streaming us live on their page today. So we've got you on yours and me on mine and Melissa's, and everybody's streaming, and anybody who's watching right now, we always appreciate it if you stream it. And so let me very quickly just say hello to our audience as we get started. Let me find where that is. There we go. And let's find everybody here and say hello to them. And sometimes it comes up, and there we go. And it's just not, I'm so sorry guys, it's not displaying who's here yet. Yep. Okay. Well, you know, it's Facebook, guys. What can I tell you? Every week is a journey with them. So let's see, what have we got? Tell me how we start.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk about the ingredients we have first, and then we'll get started. So we're going to be caramelizing an onion, kind of quick caramelizing, because it usually takes quite a bit of time, but we just want to get it nice and soft and let some of that sugar release. So we have 1 red onion, 2 cups of fresh spinach. We're going to use a cup of either Greek yogurt, and I like to use organic, whole, plain Greek yogurt, or you can use cream cheese. And for the cream cheese, I'm actually using a dairy-free cream cheese. So just depending on whether you're dairy-free or not, you can use the yogurt or you can use the cream cheese. And you can use regular cream cheese too. We're just trying to make this a little bit lighter.
Okay. First steps?
What's that?
Oh, just first steps, just wondering. How do we put it all together?
Yeah, I was just, let me just finish with the couple more ingredients, and then we'll get right into it. We've got 2 avocados. We've got some garlic powder, a little smoked paprika, 1 fresh lime, and some sea salt and pepper. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to wash our produce. Now, the great thing about this dip is this is a great opportunity, especially for the Super Bowl, where there tends to be a lot of like not so healthy ingredients, for you to have an array of beautiful fresh produce. And we have a really pretty rainbow of color here, from cauliflower to snap peas to bell peppers, jicama, tomato. You can add broccoli. You can add, we have a little surprise guest that we'll show you in just a second.
Yes, and I want to mention, so I know that you produce your own line of cleaning products for fruits and vegetables, and my audience has watched me for years now talk about food grade hydrogen peroxide, where to buy it, how to get it, how to dilute it, how to get it in the right, spray can, blah, 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 blah. But you have developed a product that is exactly that they can buy. And I want you to promote exactly where they can find that product and tell them about it. Tell us. I'm still trying to get everybody here who's asking questions.
So Eat Cleaner is my product line. I invented it with my dad. He's an environmental scientist. And when he got cancer and was told he couldn't eat anything raw anymore, we just thought, well, we got to do something about it. So we put our heads together after he got well, and he's well and thriving, thank God. But we put our heads together to create a line of products that didn't leave a smell or a taste on your fresh produce, would remove over 99.9% of the pesticide residue, wax, and just the soils and agricultural material, dirt, manure, all that can carry bacteria and make you really sick. And plus help your produce last longer. It helps it last up to 5 times longer. So we have a spray, we have a powder wash, and then we also have wipes, and we even have a wash for seafood and poultry. So make it really easy for you to be able to cleanse your fresh food. And it is all about celebrating fresh food, and also to be able to help people not waste food, because the number one contributor to greenhouse gas emissions is methane in the landfills, and that comes from food. So if we can help our food last longer, we're also helping to champion against food waste.
And where can they find this, and what is the name of the product? The name of the product is Eat Cleaner.
So it's eatcleaner.com. That's eat, E-A-T, cleaner.com. You can get a website. We're also sold in Albertsons, Bonds, Pavilion, Stater Brothers, a few local markets here in the LA area, but the best place for most people is online at eatcleaner.com or on Amazon. Are
you on Amazon?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. That's always easy, right?
Yes.
Click and you go.
And the book is on our website and on Amazon as well. So
all the other
Like You Give For is there too.
Oh, so let's just talk about this cookbook, because everybody who's here now is going to get a chance to win this cookbook. I've been promoting it all week. It's Chef Mareya's Eat Like You Give Up Fork. I've been saying it. Like you give up fork. Like you give a fork, which is so adorable as heck. So tell me just a little bit about that.
Well, the subtitle is The Real Dish on Eating to Thrive. And it really is not just a cookbook, because there are recipes in here, but it's really a plan to help you eat in a way that lowers inflammation, boosts your metabolism, and builds muscle mass, which is incredibly important, especially for us ladies who tend to love our carbs, but eating protein and balanced macronutrients is really important for our muscle mass, bone density. And to feed your cells at the cellular level, at the mitochondrial level, so that they're strong, they're able to fight disease, and we can lean into our food as our medicine cabinet with every bite. And that's really
into our food as a medicine cabinet. Music to my ears. Say hello to Susan Mendorf, who is here every day, who is entered to win a book. So that's terrific.
Yay.
So that's great. That's wonderful. And we're going to have a conversation about that once we get the dip made and get the vegetable platter for Super Bowl put together.
Yeah. So let's start by we're going to just wash. I washed all of my dipping veggies already, but I'm going to wash my spinach and my avocados, because the skin of the avocado also needs to be cleaned as well. And I'm going to use the spray for this one. For my big veggie platter, I used the powder, and I just sterilized my sink and filled it and added a scoop of the powder. 1 scoop is enough for 5 gallons of water. So that's efficient way to wash a lot.
And then how do you sterilize your sink? So you're not going to sterilize your sink with Clorox. So what did you do to sterilize your sink?
Yeah, I have my own antimicrobial blend that we created using citric acid and sodium citrate, sea salt, and a food grade cleanser. Kind of a little bit of the same idea with what we make our product. I use that to sterilize our sink.
Right. Okay. All
And
right.
you use this, by the way, to clean your sink as well.
That's what I was thinking. I thought that's what you're going to tell me that you do.
Yeah.
I have just a huge bowl, but I am guessing that you like using the powder for things like lettuce leaves and like a big, if you're cleaning a couple heads of romaine at one time, you're going to chop that up and then you'll throw it in your sink or a big bowl like I have. So it soaks in the powder, right?
I prefer that because leafy greens are the #1 cause of foodborne illness.
Yes.
Getting them to soak is always the best way to go because the product is getting into the little ridges and crevices in a way that's more thorough. But like spinach, if I have just a small amount of spinach like this, it's okay. I will use the spray just because it's a little easier. But if you have more than a head, for sure, the powder is the better way to go.
And I am assuming, except that I can't even assume what I was about to say just now, so never mind, it'll come back, but whatever that was, I don't know what it was. I'm assuming something, but whatever.
Hanging back always does.
So see, now you believe I have a 40-year-old daughter, right? When something like that happens, like,
oh no, it happens all the We're just going to let the product stay on the produce for 2 minutes and then give it a quick rinse. The rinsing is not cleaning because we don't clean anything with water alone. It's helping to lift the residue up so that when we rinse it, it's just removing, it's kind of, washing it all away. So I'm just going to step to my sink here. I'm using just a little basket strainer. I have over the sink colanders and all kinds of stuff that I use to clean all the time. You don't need to rinse your avocados. You can just leave the product on there because we're not going to eat the skin. But I'm going to just pat these dry with a little paper towel.
And I've already cleaned everything that I have here before you got here, but I was very, I didn't want us both taking the time away from the broadcast to be cleaning.
Yeah, so once we're done with that, we're going to actually get our onion just chopped up. And for this, so once I have all of my ingredients ready and prepped, I'm going to pulse them in the food processor. So that's going to help get my onion kind of like smaller in size. So you can do rings if you're doing it this way, or if you're going to just mix it with a whisk, just chop it a little bit smaller.
I did a very fine dice of the onion.
Okay, cool. So you're ahead of me.
Yeah, so we're going to put in the avocado oil and start heating that up.
Yeah, go ahead and start heating that up if you've got that ready.
Now, one of the things that I love about when I use the hydrogen peroxide, and I'm assuming it's the same for you, and I am excited to start experiencing your product, that's for sure, is that when I use the hydrogen peroxide to clean cauliflower or broccoli or lettuce or anything that is touching my mouth, I feel that there's a freshness that gets revealed after you spray it. And I'm wondering, have you had that same experience? It's like it takes that flavor that might be manure or whatever it is, or even just dustiness off, and the flavor becomes so revealed. I would just want to say hello to Marcy Tosher, who is here. Go ahead, Mareya.
It makes a huge difference. And not only does it taste better, it looks better. It just, the crunch, the texture of it seems to pop more. Sometimes you'll buy bagged produce and it's kind of limpy or it smells a little off. I wash it with the e cleaner and it comes right back to life again. That's a nice way to also refresh what you think has gone off. It just gives it life.
I got to turn up the volume here. You're a little bit low. Let me see if I can do that.
Oh. Mine's on full blast.
All right. Okay, this is heating up, and what are we putting in first? The onion?
So we've got we're going to add our onion. And we're also going to add, I use garlic powder in this. You can use fresh garlic. just the garlic powder kind of gives it, to me, a little bit
We've
more
got about a teaspoon,
flavor.
2 teaspoons of the garlic powder. Is that what you're putting in?
Yeah, about 2 spoons. I like a generous amount of garlic, but there are some people in my family that are not that keen on it. So if you have a family like that, you can scale back on it. And we're gonna let our onions kind of cook down a little bit here and let the natural sugars come out. And in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and get our avocado ready to go.
Okay. So let me open up these avocados. We're using 2 of them, correct?
Yep, I've got 2 small ones. If you're using a big one, you can just use 1 big one. I like the minis.
It's so funny because I can always get my pit out of the avocado so easily, but then I can't get the pit off the knife. Does that ever happen to you?
I just take it off the edge of the cutting board.
Okay. Well, what I do is I go to the garbage can, get it all put right into the garbage can. Okay. One more time.
Just keep our onions moving around here.
So are you guys going to the Super Bowl or you're just going to enjoy watching it?
I wish, you know, we are season ticket holders, but we did not get the lottery, and the tickets were so pricey. We're like, we'll just watch it at home and have fun.
I understand. Okay.
All right.
Well,
And
I got some caramelization going on here.
yeah, it should be getting nice and fragrant right now.
Yes, it is. Beautiful, fragrant. We have any questions? Anybody have any questions for Mareya? So stand by. We're going to be pulling the winners. There we go. Now they've all come back. Marcy Tosher, Lisa Dell is here. We are talking to Chef Mareya. Chef Mareya wrote a cookbook that we're going to be giving away at the end of today. And it is called Eat Like You Give a Fork.
The
Have
real
I done that enough? Obviously, I think that is so cute.
All right, our onions are down, getting nice and fragrant.
A little bit more oil. Hold on. And we're making onion dip, spinach dip, and what was the third one?
And guacamole.
And guacamole. So it's if the 3 dips had a baby, this is what it would taste like. A combination of spinach, onion, and guacamole. I love that. What a fabulous recipe. Okay.
So as we do this, we can kind of get everything else prepped as these cook down. So I'm going to add my cream cheese to this, and I know you're using the yogurt, right?
Right. And you want to give me an amount?
So that's a cup.
Okay.
And I'm just putting it in my bowl for now, but I'm going to put everything into
Oh, you're putting it in the bowl, not, I'm sorry. I thought you said to put it in with the onions. I put it in with the onions.
Oh.
That's okay. I can take it out. I thought I saw you putting it in with the onions, which I thought was kind of unusual, but hey, I was following.
You know what? It'll still be good.
All right.
And then also in our bowl, we're going to add the lime juice.
Okay, so we've got about a cup of the Greek yogurt, and now we're going to also put in the lime juice, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Lime.
And 1 onion or more?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, 1 lime. I said onion, I meant lime. 1 lime or more than 1 lime?
Yeah,
Just
1 lime.
Okay.
I got a little pit in mine, so watch out for the pits. And then we're going to add our paprika, just a teaspoon, and then our salt and pepper. I'm just using sea salt. Also, you can do half.
Hold on, I'm almost there.
You can do half.
Lime in the eye.
your
Lime,
salt.
lime straight in the eye. Okay. You got
Add-
it. Of all the places it could go, it went straight in my eye. Okay.
Oh no! Watch out for the eyes.
Okay, so we had now the paprika after the lime juice, smoked paprika, one of my favorite seasonings of all time. A little bit of
Me too,
kosher
I love it.
salt and pepper.
And a little.
Frank, hey Susie, nice to see you. Everybody's here today. Everybody's now finding us. So Chef Mareya is here to answer all your questions. We are making a dip, which is basically a spinach dip, an onion dip, and a guacamole dip, all together combined. In other words, if the three of them had a baby, this is what it would come out. I love that. Okay. All right. And is there anything that you might suggest to deglaze this pan?
Well, we're going to deglaze it right now with the spinach.
Okay, good.
So the spinach is going to go in and add some natural moisture
Okay.
into our pan. And if you need to add, I have just a little bit of liquid on my spinach. If you need to.
I couldn't hear you. Can you repeat that for me, Mareya?
The spinach that I had was just a little damp, so that moisture was enough for the pan. But if you need to, you can add just a little bit of water.
Nope, I added a little extra oil because it was starting to get dry to the bottom. And so that oil is still happily there and coating the spinach.
Cool. So we're going to cook
Yes,
that.
that's an interesting concept. I really want to call attention to that for everybody, that the moisture from the spinach actually helped to deglaze this pan, which is wonderful. Because as Yotam Ottolenghi says, those brown bits at the bottom, that is where all the flavor is, with his accent that I butcher.
Yeah, you can add just a little bit of water. We're watching our oil because we've got oil in the avocado too. So, and that's just another minute to get that all kind of deglazed.
Now, did you put the avocado into the yogurt and everything that's in the bowl?
Yes.
Okay, so let me do that. So one thing
a good rule of thumb with this is just to kind of like whisk it together or mash your avocado down first so that you can get in there and get it nice and mashed before you add it in with the yogurt or the cream cheese. But if you are doing it with cream cheese, you really need to pulse it in the food processor.
Right.
It doesn't work to just mix it together. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to bring my food processor over here. And the great thing about this dip is not only is it great with just veggies, it's awesome for like if you're making taquitos or tacos or, you know, just even like on top of a quesadilla, pretty much all your Super Bowl food, you can do this as a side.
Okay, so I am mashing. I need to get a fork. Let me do that.
While you do that, I'm going to just take my and put it right into the food processor.
I mean, the key to this is always having a really ripe avocado, because without a really ripe avocado, you just can't get that flavor or the texture that you really want out of this.
Yeah, that's a great point. It needs to be super ripe. You want it on the almost extra ripe side.
So once again, you can get Chef Mareya's Eat Cleaner, eatcleaner.com, which is a spray for fruits and vegetables. There's a powder form also for bigger items like leafy vegetables that you need to clean in your sink or in a large bowl like I have. There was 2 other products. What were the other 2, Mareya?
We have our seafood and poultry wash.
The what?
We have life. for seafood and poultry, we have wipes, which you can
Right.
also.
The poultry cleaner, yeah, that's awesome. So I'm just shocked that nobody else, I use my food grade hydrogen peroxide for the inside cavity of a chicken. And I am shocked that there isn't anybody that's ever put a poultry cleaner product out on the market. So I give you 10 applauds here. Everybody needs to applaud Chef Mareya for that.
Well, it's one of those things that people are like, would die. Yeah, we need one of those.
Yeah.
That's pretty important, that you don't want to, you know, if anything, our chicken and seafood needs to be washed.
Yeah.
So I've put everything in here now, into my food,
Including the onions and the spinach, right?
onions and the spinach.
Okay, here we go. And you can go ahead and pulse. So, I'm taking this off to the side so I can have the working space back. So are you still pulsing?
Yeah, I was just looking at the texture of it. I like to see just a little bit of spinach in there. So the texture that I like is just a little bit on the, I guess, rough side. I don't know what you would say, but I like to see texture.
Right. So I'm not pulsing, but I do have the fresh spinach in here.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna get a little bowl, but I can show you what it looks like.
Okay.
It's such a pretty color. I love the way this looks.
It is. It's like a lime green almost.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Okay. Yes, because the Greek yogurt takes the avocado and brings the color down a little bit lighter. So now, you did put the spinach in when you pulsed it, right?
Yes.
So I have an immersion blender. Could I just do that?
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I think this is where people can kind of use their own discretion. Like, I have kids in the house that don't like to see chunks, right? I don't like to see spinach. But if you've got a kid that has like a little bit of aversion to, you know, texture, or a significant other, I mean, it's nice to just pull it down, and you can definitely do the immersion blender with that too.
Great. So shall I taste?
Mm.
My audience loves for me to taste things. Yes, Frank says it looks delicious. Anybody have any questions?
So tasty. And the caramelized onion and the heating of the garlic just like brings it to life, right?
Oh my God. That is so good.
So good.
So good. Taking another bite.
You could finish it with a little bit of chopped onion, just raw chopped onion over the top. It would look really pretty. I'm going to do that. Just take a little piece.
Or a sprinkle of the smoked paprika.
Yes, for sure.
Absolutely delicious. Whoop. There we go.
And this is such a great, you know, just kind of all-purpose celebration dip, right? That you can serve pretty much any occasion.
You know, there's a warmth to it, like onion dip, right?
Yeah.
There's definitely that Lipton onion dip flavor. Well, at the same time, not that any of us use Lipton onion dip anymore. Oh, that's beautiful.
So I'm thinking that this becomes the centerpiece for the Super Bowl instead of all the greasy food, you know.
Absolutely. A woman after my own heart. So I've got a platter right here. You want to just walk me through how you would put it together?
Yeah. Let me move I'm going to do the same as you. I've got to move my food processor here so I can show you on my cutting board.
So I've got the snow peas. I have the colored cauliflower. I have the watermelon radishes, which look like turnips.
Yeah, so what I like to do is, you know, with this canvas of color, just kind of see what I've got and arrange it in a way where the color just kind of all complements each other, right? So I take the florets of the cauliflower and put them all together, and we have green, basically like a what would you say? Almost like a light orange color.
Yeah, I call it green, orange, and purple.
Yeah, green, orange, purple. So you have all that beautiful color, which just is like so fun for your eyes to see. And by the way, the purple ones are rich in anthocyanins, and this is a very powerful antioxidant. Anytime you have like a purple colored fruit or vegetable, you know that's a super antioxidant.
That's awesome. Okay, and I've got, yeah, like beets, right?
Yeah, beets, onions, even the watermelon radish, purple
I'm
cat.
so excited to cut into the, I've never had a watermelon radish in my home.
Oh yeah, we're gonna cut into that. And
Nice.
then I take my bell pepper and I just cut it into little pieces like this. And I also have a multitude of colors here. I have red, I have orange, I have yellow, I have green. And just when you put them into strips, you just kind of flip them over so that the colorful side is up. And then we have jicama. Jicama, people don't realize this. A serving of jicama has more vitamin C than oranges.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
This is also a very powerful antioxidant rich vegetable. Sometimes it's
Even
called.
though it's white, because you might consider that maybe the whiteness is not, the nutritional value may not be too great, but that would be incorrect, right?
That's right. And with the jicama, I like to sprinkle just a little bit of paprika or chili pepper over it. And it kind of makes it look pretty, but it also just gives it a little burst of flavor. And you can put a little lime juice over it too, which is really nice.
That's awesome. What else do I have here? I have the snow peas. You have pea pods, but I think I have snow peas.
The snow peas, you don't have to do anything to. Just wash, put them on the plate.
Mm. And they are really good dippers, right?
So good.
You put this up here so you can see. Look at that.
So pretty.
So beautiful, right? So I'm going to take my little. Oops, you broke up. Tell me again.
Should we cut into the watermelon radish?
Yes. Mm. So good.
This is such an interesting, people who don't like radish will try this just because it looks so pretty. And from the outside, it does look like a turnip, but you cut into it. Look at that gorgeous color. And you can cut these into wedges.
Oh, look at this. Look at that.
That's neat.
Mareya, look at it.
I know. It's spectacular.
They are beautiful. Now, this was already red, and these are kind of green. So let me see how these look once you cut into.
And you don't need to take the skin off of these, guys. You don't need to peel them. Just wash them well, and you eat the whole thing.
Oh, skin and everything, huh?
Skin and everything.
Well, let me take a bite of that. So sweet.
They're not as sharp as regular radish. So if you're a person that's like, I don't like radish, try these. It's a different experience.
Very different. The texture is like a radish. And when you first bite into it, you think you're going to taste a radish, and then instantly you taste the sweet watermelon, watery flavor of it. It's delicious.
And when you cut them like this, look, it looks like a little baby piece of watermelon.
That's so cute. That's so cute. All right. This is amazing. Well, let's have just a quick conversation. Let me get some water here. Let's have a quick conversation about very similar things to what we had the other day off camera, because I have been thirsty for a chef who in the food industry, if you will, who is abreast of the information from Dr. Zach Bush. And you are very familiar with Farmer's Footprint. Do you want to tell our audience just a little bit about Farmer's Footprint?
Well, the whole idea is that, like I was saying before, our food is our medicine. And what we cultivate in the soil, what feeds us, then gives back to the land. And so taking care of the land is extremely important, and the soil being rich with nutrients and life-giving nutrients to us, not just the vegetable, but to us, is critical. So it's really about taking care of the land, taking care of the people that grow our food, and just having that be the core of what we lean into. And unfortunately, I think we live in a time where a lot of crops that are commercially grown are subsidized, like wheat, corn, and soy. And those three crops are also the most heavily sprayed and genetically modified.
As well as coffee beans. Coffee beans is one of the most heavily sprayed crop in the world with insecticide. I'm sorry, what'd you say? I couldn't hear you, broke up.
Cotton also, which we put on skin, which are our largest organ. So it really is something that we need to be aware of.
So the basis of Farmer's Footprint is that these family farms that have been around for centuries, about 50 years ago, were asked and then told to convert their natural farming farms into factory farms, that industry could show them how to do it better and faster and grow bigger vegetables, fatter animals. And initially, of course, most farmers went to that. And lo and behold, the farmers themselves started to get sick, where before farmers would live long and healthy lives because they were fed by their farms. And that has just not been the case in the last decade or two. And mostly because glyphosate has come, glyphosate, better known as Roundup, you will all know. And what that has done is depleted the topsoil of the prairie land. And so it's hard to grow anything now. But farmers, as subsidized by Farmer's Footprint, is going back to natural farming. It takes about 2 years to convert their farms from factory farming back to organic farming. And then it becomes optimal at 5 years. So, but it's only 2 years where they can't grow. So Farmer's Footprint is subsidizing these farmers in that 2-year transition. And a person who was recently featured in Farmer's Footprint was a cattle rancher in the prairie land of Nebraska who reversed his farming techniques. Now his cattle, of course, they weigh less than the factory cattle, but they're healthier, and you can taste the difference. And he was featured, and I actually ordered my beef from him because I can eat beef when I know where it comes from. I can eat chicken when I know where it comes from. But when I just walk down the aisle of a supermarket and I don't know where my meats are coming from or where my produce is coming from, I find it hard to buy it, and I find it hard to eat it because I don't want to avail myself of the factory farming that has been basically depleting our entire soil system, which actually, by the way, has contributed more to global warming than any other thing. If we just go back and take care of our soil, it will adjust the Earth's temperature because it's all in the soil.
Yeah, a lot of the answer is really in how we take care of the land, the air, and the sea, I mean, and our trees, because these are all major contributors. And the thing about, I think the thing that people often misunderstand is, this idea that organic, outside of, for example, how a protein is raised or how a produce item is raised, like if I go and buy organic Oreos, then that's okay. And that's really not what we're talking about. What we're talking about, sustainability that addresses our core nutrition needs, right? Because at the end of the day, the focus should be on this wide variety of fruits and vegetables, good quality protein, and slow burning carbohydrates. And I talk a lot about that in my book, what the best sources of those are. But
and when you say slow burning carbohydrates, what are you referring to?
I'm talking about single ingredient grains that are a great source of clean energy, and we need carbohydrates. I think carbs have gotten a really bad rap, but we can enjoy brown rice and black rice and millet and amaranth and quinoa, which is actually technically a seed, but there's a whole variety of gluten-free grains that are really good for us to lean into. And by the way, we can still have things like bread. It's just, again, about the source. How is that flour being milled? Does it have a bunch of additives and preservatives added in? So learning how to read labels and how to just understand the jargon is part of what I help to demystify.
And do you have a certain grocery store that you feel that you go to anytime and just trust that if it's on the shelf, you can trust it? Or do you still read and research no matter what store you happen to be in?
Yeah, no, I don't just depend on the store because my standards are different than maybe a store standards, you know?
Right.
So I read labels diligently. I'm always looking for sugar because sugar is a problem and we have so much added sugar in different forms in food. And I, like you, only order my proteins, like my meat and seafood, from certain places that I really trust, because I know that the animal is raised the way it's supposed to be and it's eating what it's supposed to.
Yes.
Because the higher up the food chain you go, the more responsible we have to be, right? Because if it's eating, you know, a farm-raised fish that's eating pellets instead of actually eating plankton, then we have a different animal, literally.
Yeah, totally. And I understand that we really only need to get about 17% of the American population buying organic. And once 17% of the American population is buying organic, then most farms will have to convert to organic because of the demand. Have you heard that statistic?
I haven't heard that statistic specifically, but I think we're already seeing a lot more, you know, mainstream. I mean, I grew up in the natural foods industry. I've been in it for 27 years. And back then it was just natural food stores that were carrying organic or even talking about it.
Exactly.
Now you go into mainstream grocery stores and see major, you know, dedication to that, you know, across the board, from Kroger to Albertsons, Safeway to Target to Walmart, Costco also. So I'm seeing it move in that direction. But I think what we also need to just keep in mind is that while organic is important, to support our local farmers at the farmers market, for example, and local, you know, people that are creating foods locally is really important too, just for our local economy. And a lot of the time, those, you know, like if I buy duck eggs from my farmer's market, you know, I know that the guy that's raising those ducks is feeding those ducks what they're supposed to be eating. So, and then you have a chance to interact with a farmer too and talk to them. Sometimes it's too expensive for them to go organic completely, but perhaps they are using a biodynamic approach, or I know a guy that that has groves of avocado trees, and he told me, he's like, Mareya, it would be really hard for us to go organic completely, but we use such minimal pesticide. It's actually like significantly less than what we would need to use if we were growing organically. Because by the way, organic doesn't mean that there's no pesticides. It's just the type of pesticides.
Right. And also to understand for most of them that the process that you need to go through to get certified organic is so expensive
Yes.
that it doesn't even make sense sometimes for the small farmer. But like you said, if you talk to him and if you can trust him, there's a woman that owns a farm just outside of Las Vegas, and she's just over the California border, Desert Bloom Farms, and they are not certified organic, but I went out there. I saw her chickens. I saw how they were being raised. I saw her food sources. I saw everything that she was doing. And that farm is 100% organic farm. I mean, she showed where the chicken feed came from, the waste of the garden that got thrown over here, and the waste of the goats that went over to manure over here. And, you really see the life cycle of how, food is done and given. And by the way, all of those cattle and the other animal, why can't I think of the name of the animal that used to graze on the prairie that you see in all the old Western movies? Buffalo, buffalo. I mean, literally nobody was, hey, Stacy Saidi, thank you for being here. Is those animals grazed on that prairie land naturally before we ever interfered with it, and their manure that they, as their waste product, fertilized that prairie. They moved on to the upper prairie, and when that grass was eaten, they left their fertilization behind and moved down to where the grass grew, and it was a very natural process. They didn't need our help.
Yeah. I mean, this idea of living off the land literally is something that we need to kind of really consider, because if you think about it, our growing population, it's very hard to create a national standard, let alone an international standard, which food is being shipped all over the world.
Right.
Feed a growing population in a way that is sustainable by doing it in mass. That's why you're also seeing a lot of people kind of start to raise their own. People are raising their own chickens in their backyard. And they have their own eggs, and they have their own little gardens, and they're making their bread. So
do you grow a garden in the back?
What's that?
Do you grow a garden in the back?
I'm going to be starting. We are in a relatively new house, so I couldn't do it the first year with COVID, but we are going to be planting. And I have like my herbs on my windowsill. I love to make sourdough from a starter. So you can take these steps and do what you can to make a difference, and then support your local farmers and choose well. Become a steward of the environment and your own health by what you put on the end of your fork. Right? We can vote with our dollar every day.
You vote with your dollar every day, and also either you're making choices that food becomes your medicine, or you're making choices where your food becomes your poison. And so you really need to become in tune with what that is. It's a beautiful thing, really. When you really connect to it, you'll eat less because you'll be more satisfied, and so ultimately it's really less expensive because you're actually buying less because you need less. When you chew a watermelon radish, the fact that you have to chew it rather than it just melts in your mouth and swallow it like a Cheeto, which has no nutritional value, then you want to eat a whole bag of Cheetos because you're actually craving, where is the flavor? Where is the fiber? Where is the this? And you can eat that whole bag and still not be satisfied, but you eat just one slice of a watermelon radish like this, the fact that you have to chew it, the fact that it has to go down through the system and it's fibrous, so your body is working to bring it down, you actually get a lot more full on 2 or 3 slices of this than you do a bag of Cheetos.
That's right. And fiber is really important. And I think that's why, for a lot of your viewers and my followers, I'm always talking about how fad diets don't work in the long run. If you are just eating a lot of fat, or a lot of, just focused on one food group, and you're missing out on the others, you are doing yourself a disservice in the long run. You might lose weight initially, but can you really sustain that? And I'll also add that just be aware that when, I think, again, things come into vogue and people get on the bandwagon and then they're like, wait, I'm not losing weight. Well, juicing, for example, or just living on smoothies is not really effective either, because a lot of the time you're getting too much sugar, and you're not chewing. So the signal to your brain is not telling your stomach to stop, or
Right.
your stomach's not telling your brain to stop. So, I think those are all the things that I teach in my book and also my program, Eat to Thrive, where I really walk people through this process in more detail. Because there's a lot to know, but I distill it down in a way that's easy to just digest.
Right. Excuse me. I choked on the watermelon radish. Susan Mendorf just said we need to find a way to get organics to the senior population, but because they live on a fixed income. But most of them don't really understand, because I actually at lunch today was just explaining this generation now, of which there are 73 million baby boomer grandparents that are out there right now. We were the largest generation ever in the history of the planet. And now we are the largest generation who have become seniors in the history of America. They have the power of their dollars to help sway different things. But what happened is that midway through, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My husband's going to take this. It's my gate calling. Anyway, midway through their early teen years, suddenly we got fast food, and we were a big market, and we were marketed to start eating packaged foods as opposed to the full foods of our childhood. And they got a lot of health problems that they feel guilty about, but they were just marketed to. They were consumers that were reached out to and told to eat TV dinners and, make your life easier, make it faster. And the old ways of eating that they learned from their parents and grandparents who came from, as an example, Europe and the Middle East, who moved over to here, that knew to eat differently. They're like, no, we know what we're doing. We're the young generation. And now this generation is a sicker, large generation than the generations that came before. I have to answer this. Forgive me 1 minute.
No problem.
Hello? Okay, please send them in. Thank you. Well, that's the first time that's happened, but I have a cabinet maker coming that I said, do not come before 4 o'clock. Now, you know that if I'd said, you have to be here no later than 4:10, he would have come at 4:30. But because I said, don't come until 4, he came at 10 minutes to 4. So anyway, I knew you had to go at 3:45. You had a hard stop. I want to thank you so very much for taking the time. If you will, text me your tag so I can tag you on this Facebook once it posts. And if you're ready, let's pick that winner, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 45 people. Here's the list right here. 45 people that that shared and came to visit. And if you will pick a number between 1 and 45, we'll see whose number is the winner.
Okay, I'm going to pick my favorite player's number, Cooper Cup, number 10.
Number 10 is Connie Schellerup. So I will make sure that I let Connie Schellerup know. Actually, believe I actually have her address, so I can give you her address, and I'll forward that to you. And she is the big winner, so I'll post that. And I thank you, Mareya, so very much for coming and being here. And thank you to Melissa's Produce for providing both of us with such beautiful produce so that we could do the show today. And it will hang over, of course, into our own Super Bowl parties. So I thank you so very, very much. The best to you and your family. Teresa says, congratulations, Connie. Frank says, congratulations, Connie. So she just showed up yesterday when we were doing the sous vide, and that's really nice. Very, very nice. Okay. All right. Well, we all say together, we always say, go out and spread love like butter. It's my tagline. So on the count of 3, we can say it together. 1, 2, 3, go out and spread love like butter. There we go.
All right.
Thank you so much, Mareya. Take care. Bye, everybody.